Hey everybody, Nikki T here, 5 Minutes Nikki T, bringing you another one of my quick messages. So right now I'm just writing a paper on the justification by faith and how that applies to our church and today's church versus the Old Testament church. And what I was writing on is, through faith, Christ says that you are to love God with all your heart and soul is the number one commandment, and the second of which is to love your neighbor as yourself. Well, where's our churches going wrong in today's world where the Old Testament was under the justification by law or your actions? So the Jews literally thought that because they were born as the chosen people that they were already under the covenant with God, and so therefore they were guaranteed eternal salvation as long as they did not screw up, meaning that they had to complete their works or obey the law in order to get in. But that died with Christ on the cross, and we were resurrected with Christ, bringing in the new covenant. And it says through faith and not through our works, we are able to achieve the eternal glory. So what does that mean, and how does that apply to the church today? So the Old Testament church, they had a lot of fear of God. The God was doing some things to them. He literally opened the earth and swallow whole families and allow the Israelites to go and just crush their enemies. Today's world, we don't fear God, and that's a huge part of the problem that we have. So in Romans 8:6, they talk about, so letting your sinful nature control your mind leads to death, but letting the Spirit control your mind leads to life and peace. And that's what we got to remember is when through our freedom now, through the freedom that we have that came on the cross, we have the more of the right to be able to make the decision on which way we're going to lead our life. But when we let that sinful nature control our minds, instead of letting the Spirit control our mind, that's where we can get into a lot of trouble. And we need to remember that you should still be fearing God. God is real, and God's wrath is something you do not want to experience. You want to stay with Him and stay in the love. And as you grow with God, what's beautiful now is you don't have to complete all the laws and do everything perfect. What you do is have to hold yourself to a higher standard once you know Christ and continue to move with His grace. And as the Holy Spirit gives you discernment, He'll let you know what you do and do not need to give up in your life. And that'll change and develop as you change and develop and grow. God's being patient with us, but His patience is running out. And we need to make sure that you are on the boat before you sink, because you don't want eternal damnation. I promise that. So, love you guys. God bless you. 5 Minutes with Nikki T. Don't forget to subscribe to my podcast. And God bless you all. Have a good day.